talk about everything, play music in between. Tune in and enjoy Chad's underground scene. Talking music, you know what I mean. Tune in and enjoy Chad's underground scene.
Welcome to Chad's underground scene with my special guest, Michael Ubaldini. How you doing, buddy?
Man? I'm doing all right. How's it going?
How's it going out here in the OC?
It's nice, quiet little suburbia, so it's all right.
So live music is back, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, man, it's finally.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because we were locked down for a while, and
that's all we do. So.
And now we're playing live.
I was doing those live streams for a while, because you couldn't go out and play, so to get gigs was. That's like your income is playing and, all that kind of stuff. And just the love of playing. So it's kind of strange because I was doing these live streams. I have the phone set up. And my audience was basically, I have a poster on the wall of, Hank Williams,
right,
70s Linda Ronstadt, and Eddie Cochran and Buddy Holly and Waylon Jennings in a phone booth,
Oh, nice.
So I was playing and a little Jack Kerouac. So I'm playing, and then the song would end, and I was like, there's my audience.
There's my audience, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to hear.
Yeah, so people. I did the same. That's how this show got started.
Right.
I started doing this. I got to do something, and then I also had booked a couple of tours.
Yeah.
And they got canceled, so I did the tours from my home live, as if I was at each different club in the different place in the different state.
Yeah, creative. Yeah.
So I was in Colorado, and I came out with my snowboard, and when I was in Texas, I came out with a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I kind of just started doing I was calling it Folk Song Friday, and I was having it got into different themes every week. So it was every Friday, and I would do train songs, or then I would do murder ballads.
Right, yeah.
Or then I would do maybe, I'd do all my originals in there too, I'd mix it up, but that would be the first section would be that, and I'd do maybe, I did a Paul Weller one, a folk,
nice.
all the songs stripped down, just turn people onto him a little bit, and so it was a good thing. And then
that was one of our icons. We love the Jam.
The Jam were just great, underrated in the States for sure, right? Yeah.
All right, so let's start the show with a little song by you. Tell us a little bit about the song and the title.
Okay, well,
and maybe how you came about writing it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going to do this one right now. This is if I can get this off of this thing here. I thought this was going to make life easier.
They make it.
It's supposed to keep the guitar safe, There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Never. I like
safe and out of tune, right?
See why I'm an old school guy. I don't like these new things. But
you see, I just lean mine on a pole over here.
Yeah, here's the cable. Yeah, I'm gonna do a song here. This is off of I had a record called "Song of Our Time" that came out 2019, right before that lockdown thing, and I had a song on there. Basically, a lot of people were calling them, those are really good protest kind of songs, but I don't write protest songs. I just look at holding a mirror up to society.
Yeah.
I never got into that where which side are you on kind of thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because I don't care that people do that, but for me, I just feel like it dates your songs. It could be
and just bring the details out of what's really going on.
Yeah. So this one was called "The Offended," and this is about how everybody's. I notice people are overly sensitive about everything now.
Yes.
No matter what it is, it's you could just say, I like chocolate cake, and then all of a sudden it'll be
I can't believe it.
Social media, they'll be like, the most vile stuff.
You know what they do to make those chocolate cakes?
Right, yeah. You know where the frosting comes from? So anyways, I wrote this kind of thing. It's a little bit of a satire, but if you want to call it that, but I'll just play it for you. Okay, so it's called "The Offended." Here we go. Offended by superstition, offended by the age-old game. I find it very offensive, you don't recognize my name. Sticks and stones may shatter bones, I'm offended, no words do. Everyone's easily offended, it's got nothing to do with me or you. so easily offended. The sky is offended because the color of it is blue. The stars have been upended that the sun's come shining through. TV news and talk shows, 24 hours they speak. The calendar is offended, there's 7 days in a week. Oh, everyone's so easily offended. People are offended of something they never thought of before. Offended by a patch quilt or a blanket on the floor. Wow, easily offended to even know who we are. Or are we all automatons driving in a motor car? Oh, everyone's so easily offended. I'm offended by the river, the streets and the sky, movies, religion and race, and the mountains up on high. By flags, symbols and decals, and the oak wood tree. I'm offended by everything because I'm supposed to be. Oh, everyone's so easily offended. I'm offended by relationships, being alive and driving cars. The past, the present, hipsters and a milkshake bar. I'm offended by every creed and every moral code. I drive away and I'd split this place, but I'm offended by the road. Oh, everyone's so easily offended. I'm offended by corporations, small businesses too. All the social workers, patriotism through and through. By sex, love and marriage, and a beautiful happy home. I'm offended by the night and every highway that I roam. Oh, everyone's so easily offended. I'm offended by the forests, the trees and the woods, the rich and the poor people in every neighborhood. I'm supposed to be offended, they told me on TV. I'm offended that I'm offended, I'm offended I offended me. Oh, everyone's so easily offended.
Nice.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Be offended.
It's so true. It's so true. And I like the last line of the song. That's
oh yeah, I'm offended I offended me. I'm offending myself now.
I'm offended by offended me. Oh, that's awesome.
All right, this thing has got to go.
So,
He's just leaning against something.
just lean it against that.
Yeah. Hang on a second. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
I think that's the key. You have to stand up and
You
get
stand
it
up to get it in there. Yeah,
okay.
That's like a lock that will never let you in, right?
Right.
It's awesome.
Yeah, no, we're protecting your guitar. It's like from you.
From you.
Yeah.
can't-
Offended I offended me. Yeah.
I'm offended by that guitar stand.
Yeah. The guitar is like looking at you. Help me.
All right, let's
Okay.
go back to the beginning when
Okay.
we met each other. So we were in the same scene. You were in the Earwigs, and
Yeah.
and we were bouncing around town with Easter and
Yeah.
other punk bands that we
Yeah.
played in, and we did a lot of Hollywood, did a lot of Orange County
Yeah.
and Long Beach.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the scene, and then tell us a little bit about the band that you were in.
Okay, well, that scene, we were kind of playing basically the same places I would think you guys were playing, but
Oh, yeah.
But this is like, put the Earwigs together maybe in like 78, and it wasn't called the Earwigs first, it was called the Invaders, you know?
Right, yeah.
And then it became the Scene. But then we thought, well, that might be a little too mod, you know? So let's like, and then we thought, let's just do a creepy Beatles thing, you know? So then we did the Earwigs, and then we started playing like the Cuckoo's Nest, places like the Cuckoo's Nest in Costa Mesa. That was kind of our first
Great club,
place,
yeah.
And then played so many great shows there, and we played the Golden Bear. I think we opened for 2020 there once even, And then, but we played in the Blasters. We played, you know, the Bear a lot, and we were the only band really that got into the Bear at that little time. Because remember how everything was new, everybody punk, and any research that was people were afraid of all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like today, like where your barista at the Starbucks has a little purple in her hair.
Yeah.
You know, back then people would stop and like, we need to beat that person up. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that, you know, so they booked us in there because the guy happened to like some of the songs. He was like, "Oh, you guys," you know, he gave us a shot in there and it went over good. So we were playing there. Radio City was another one that used to be in like Anaheim, I think, off of Knott and Ball Road. There was that, and the Woodstock was next to it.
And Pink Cadillac was out there.
Right, yeah. So we played there, and there's a whole bunch of places. Then like the ones in LA, the usual, like I think there was Cathay de Grande and.
Yeah, I played Golden Bear with the Wailers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then played there also with Wall of Voodoo.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing Wall of Voodoo before they were real big, and the Psychedelic first opened for them at the Whiskey.
Yeah.
I remember I went there, and we just went to go see some bands, and they were playing, which was cool about that period because there was a lot of live places to play and go see bands, and all ages could get in. And I remember, like, if you were under 21 like we were, they would give you like a different stamp.
Oh, right, yeah.
But then we do that thing where you like take the 21 stamp and try to get that, rub them together with the other people's hand, and so we could drink. And
that's what we did.
Exactly what we did.
Secret.
No copying at home. So that was that, and we were playing with all those groups. We were around that same period with all the bands that you remember, but so we weren't influenced by any of those bands. You know that Agent Orange, Adolescence, all those groups. They were just other bands in the scene, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And then we were a little younger. Like
and they were friends and acquaintances.
Yeah, everybody
hung out and played gigs together.
Yeah, and then even the hardcore bands liked the Earwigs when punk started getting hardcore.
Yeah.
Because you know how it was, you were kind of doing your own thing. People were kind of supportive of it in a weird way, you know. But I remember the Cuckoo's Nest. They used to love when we played because the Earwigs had a really good. We had a good girl draw, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So like, and the guys would come because they were, you know, it was like a whole camaraderie, and the girls were there. Yeah. So like, I remember they were real excited. We played there because they go, "Oh, great, you guys are playing tonight. There's going to be girls here, right?" And we go, "There's always girls here," and they go, "No, the real girls." That's what I remember them saying that, because we were kind of like that, you know, because the band, you know. Yeah,
because your following had a lot of girls that were 50s style, right? So they had cool hair.
Well, no, our girls
look good.
No, the girls that followed us looked more like the Runaways. Like that kind of look, leather jackets and stuff.
Yeah, leather jackets.
Because we were in a straight rockabilly thing. We were like more like a '60s influenced garage kind of thing, like by the Seeds and the early Hamburg Beatles. That's we kind of went for that look, you know. And then early Stones and then like, but then we liked Gene Vincent and Eddie Cochran and that stuff. So we kind of were mixing all that. And then
and a lot of that crowd joined in because
then it was kind of a good mix. So we had a good mix of. There was like a couple guys in the band that were into the. We liked the Jam and the Clash, so it wasn't like mods and rocker thing.
Right. Yeah.
We just liked everything.
Which was a funny split, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just good music, right?
Because it was all good music, right?
It was all great. Right? Yeah, and it was all.
And they would have gone so well together, and they.
And really, at that time, we were like
apart.
There was a band called Jimmy and the Mustangs with my friend Johnny Ray Bartell was in that band, and then he wanted to play in the Red Devils, but there was a time in this county, and it sounds crazy, but early on, me and him, as far as I know, and he knew, we were like the only guys that were really greases in this county.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like his even Social Distortion. They were playing punk rock, and then Mike liked all that. They liked it, and Dennis, they liked the old stuff.
No, they loved all that.
But they didn't have that. They weren't looking like that yet.
Yeah.
So I remember, like, I played some gig, and I think Dennis or somebody came up, and Mike, and they go, you guys look great, man. The band looks great. It looks like a band on stage, you know? And then I used to trade a few records with Dennis. Dennis liked rockabilly stuff, and he had some punk records, and then I would trade him we traded singles or something like that, you know? But so it's kind of funny. But so we played those places, and then I think we played with a lot of people like the Plimsolls and Josie Cotton. Opening those shows.
Oh, that's funny you mentioned that. I went to see Josie Cotton last night.
Oh, really?
And what a great band.
Yeah, she's cool too.
She's got Paul Rossler in her band.
Yeah,
it's just an amazing band.
And then Melanie, she played for the Pandoras, and I was friends with her back then. We used to hang out all the time, you know. And I think she's the keyboard. I don't know if she's playing keyboards in her band or not, but was she on that gig, Melanie?
Yeah, I think she's still playing keyboards.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are good little times.
Yeah, they have 2 keyboard players, guitar player, drummer.
Yeah.
Drummer's off the hook so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Earwigs, we ended up splitting up, because once everybody was like, turned about like, well, Rodney used to play our stuff all the time, and like basically, this is a weird thing about the Earwigs. There's a weird interest in that band now, like 40 years later, because I'm hit up all the time by these power pop, like, or these one-off punk labels.
Right, yeah.
And they all want to like put the album out because we did this single, She's So Naive and Here Come the Earwigs, and I don't know what we made, maybe like 300 of them or something like that.
Yeah.
And but now they go online for like $400.
Oh yeah, for you.
Like crazy amount of money. And I had like 10 or 12 of them left, so I go, I'm gonna put one online and just see what it does. So I put it up there and I put, okay, buy it now, 400. Or bid it, whatever it was, and like somebody bought it. I went to eat and I came back and it was gone. Somebody in Japan bought it.
Yeah, I've seen some singles that are out there and they're like $1,200 for a single.
Crazy.
I'm like, wow.
And I'm going, man, too bad we weren't making that. Was like that one sale.
Too bad I didn't make 1,000, right?
Yeah. Back
if you should have made 10,000 of them, you can sell them all.
So we recorded this record and we had it done. It was going to get released, and there was a couple labels wanted to put out, and this one label was going to put it out, in this indie label, and then the label folded and the record was done. But meanwhile, Rodney and this girl named Sue Mink for KNAC, when it was more of a was an underground music station before it was metal station. She had us on there, and they were playing songs off the cassette of the album.
Right,
so people have bootlegged the album. So it's interesting how like these kids will like, they'll email me or call me up or come to a game. They go, "Hey, do you have any that Earwigs 45s?" And they even know like there was 2 covers, because the first cover had just the logo, and then.
Yeah, the collectors know every detail of the records.
One had the logo, and then like we had this manager he goes, "Oh no, you guys look good. You're nice. You look good, you kids. We need to put you on the cover, right?" So we did the paste over like the Beatles, yesterday and today.
Yeah.
So now, those the collectors will go, "Now do you have the paste over cover and the logo
and
cover? Because I want them both." So I go, "How do you guys even know that?
How do you even know that
they
exist?"
You guys are like 17, man.
But they're collecting. They're into it. It's like when we were kids, stamp collecting, right?
And even like
coin collecting.
Yeah,
right?
and even like the old records, like looks like I go, well, I know, like, okay, is that the Beatles? Meet the Beatles without the publishing credits.
Right.
That's the one that's worth more money.
And with the misprinted name
whatever,
of the label,
butcher cover or whatever. So it's kind of maybe this is the same thing, but then that band split up because I think once we got out of high school, I knew then, like, well, okay, either they're going to stick it out or they're going to go. So then the original lineup broke up, and then I did a second lineup, and that's when I met Danny and Corky.
And then you're 20 years old, so there's a lot of important things going on.
Right, yeah.
Every minute.
So we were playing at Bogart's, and then Danny and Corky were there.
Yeah.
They were standing over to the side. Remember the Club Bogart's?
Right,
not the coffee house that I played now.
No, Bogart's that was in Long Beach.
Yeah. And it was Danny and Corky were standing there.
Yeah, we played there quite a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking at these guys. Well, these guys look pretty cool. They were just like watching the whole time.
Yeah.
Like really intently. And then we did original songs, of course. But then I think we did a Stiff Little Fingers cover. And then Danny came.
And Danny would love that.
Yeah. So Danny came right and goes, "I love that Stiff Little Fingers song, man. That's cool. You guys did. I think we did Nobody's Heroes or something."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then and so then he I gave him my number or something, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden he called me up and said, and the Earwigs had split up. The second version split up because it just kind of ran its
you're
course.
20 years old, so we all have to argue and fight.
And so in between all that, I've just because I wasn't in a band, I go, I'm going to go on the road a little bit and make some money. So there was this guy that did like all 50s, like a 50s show, like all 50s music.
Yeah.
And then so he needed a guitar player, and so then I went on that, and that was an interesting tour. But anyways, I came back, and then Danny called me and goes, and I just got back, and he goes, "Hey man, I met you, Bogart's, man."
Right,
I go, "Yeah, I know you are." And he goes, "Yeah, and we need a guitar player because we're gonna go on the road." And I guess Mike Ness was playing before that, right?
It was right when he was going back to do his album.
Yeah, so he was leaving.
Prison Bound.
Yeah. So he was going to go do that, and then he goes, "I'll come over." And then so he came over, and then I came to the door, and we just hit it off right off the way. Like I guess it was the right fit. He was like, "Oh, this is going to be great" or something. So.
Okay, here's a great spot since we were talking about Hollywood, Orange County, Long Beach, the whole scene at that time. I get this song that was on my record Legend. This song is called Legend. And I talk about all those places that we hung out at and went to.
Right. The same.
I remember all the fun we had at the Cafe Day Grand. The faster the better, louder the band. Drinking beer from tin cans and talking to a friend. We would do it all again. Thought it would never end. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I said remember Bender's Ballroom and the Santa Monica Civic. We always played so loud, man, we could kick it. The floor it was a swirling, the pit it was so hard. Tattoos and leather, such a good looking crowd. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I'm a legend in my time, a legend in my mind. 120 minutes VH1 on my favorite bands. Stiff Little Fingers, 999, all of their fans. We went to 3 clubs a night and then canters with our friends. We would do it all again. Thought it would never end. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I'm a legend in my time, legend in my mind. I'm a legend in my time, a legend in my mind.
Yeah, man. That's pretty much, it's all in there, huh?
Yeah, it's all in there. That was some good times, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I have some great memories that I can keep with me for my whole life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the stuff that happens, it's like...
And so many friends that we made, and
yeah,
and then some people that hated us, right? But that was all part of the attitude for the punk rock. So let's move forward with your entry into Easter in our West Coast tour.
Yeah, so I hadn't put a band together yet. Our band was split up, so I just came back from doing that to... Basically, I went on that tour with that group just to sort of get to know some of these clubs, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So then I went through Canada and stuff. Then I came back, and then Danny goes, "Hey, we're gonna go on this. We need a guitar player, and we have this record out that we had put out. It was that the Easter, the one.
Right. Yeah. Easter. I forget.
Yeah, with Manhattan Boy and all that. Mm-hmm. So I go, okay, cool, man. So I go, when are you guys going to go? And I think it was like really right away. You know?
Yeah, it was I think a couple weeks.
Yeah, so he goes, so he gave me a cassette. I think there was a cassette of it, and then he goes, okay, you got to learn all these songs. I learned all that, but what was cool about it was a lot of them were in the key of D.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So there was kind of a pattern.
Yeah, we like DNA.
Yeah, so it was kind of a pattern, you know. So I was like, okay, I can learn these. And then I remember we went and we rehearsed. I remember rehearsing with you guys. I don't remember where that was. It was maybe, I don't know, it was Redondo Beach or something, or there was some like little room, and we went and rehearsed in there. And
at that time, Or was it in Vernon? Did we go to
Long
Vernon?
Beach maybe, or
Vernon, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. So I remember we
In
went
the
up-
little cubbyhole room up
that
in the
room up
second
at
story.
yeah,
or
second
third
story.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
So
Yeah.
I remember we rehearsed up there, and then like you were like, man, dude, you learned all those songs, man. This, yeah. And then so I remember that was a cool time because, I remember those 2 white vans,
Oh yeah.
and then I remember like we were going across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh,
and
yeah,
There was 2 vans and then the one Corky, I was with Corky, I think, and Danny, and then you
Right,
guys were in
yeah.
the other van. I think
Right,
it was.
yeah.
And then there was a gas leak like sprung up in Corky's, and it's like shooting up in the middle of the thing. And one of the crew guys was gonna light a cigarette, and everyone's like, "Don't light the cigarette, man!" And then so then we're going across, and we stuffed it with something, and
Yeah.
and we got there and everything. And the funny thing was I'm thinking, like, only if you're like 20 years old or whatever it is that doesn't really bug you. You're like, oh, the gas is shooting. Okay, let's plug it up, and just keep driving. I remember, so that was like,
Oh yeah, we had so many things with
Yeah.
the vans, fixing vans and fixing cars.
yeah. And then I remember, that was there was some cool little gigs there though, and but those were fun, man.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
such
interesting 'cause-
good times.
And me being I was a songwriter, so I was just, but I was playing playing the guitar part for you guys.
Right, yeah.
But it was good to be on the road because then like when downtime I would sit around and write little ideas down in songs, and I remember like us busking or something on down in, I don't know, it was a Fisherman's
Wharf in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, we went all out there.
Because we had a gig that was canceled, right? So we
Yeah.
needed to make up the money.
We all went to the
And we're like, let's go to Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah.
We'll make up the money we
Yeah.
lost for that canceled gig.
Yeah, so
right,
we were there busking, and then I remember a lot of the homeless guys were throwing in.
They were
all
throwing
kinds of
money in our
I mean, that guy's got a lot of money. He was throwing 20, throwing
in our case,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, play another song, and
boy, we needed it because
yeah, and that really helped, man.
that was early in the tour. So we
Yeah,
were like, oh my god, we already have a gig that's canceled. This is
yeah, yeah,
but such a good time.
yeah. And there was a place called the Bottom of the Hill. Remember we played and it was because it was at the bottom of a hill. The
Right?
club.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was that.
So this will be a good time. We're going to break away and we're going to go to a video of Easter. This video is called Steady Rockers.
Steady rockers. Steady rockers.
Great. I hope you enjoyed that video. So we're back. We can continue on with a little bit more of Easter.
Yeah, that tour. Yeah.
And then what followed that? Because when you came back, you ended up doing some music with some other people, and some are famous.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So so I remember some stuff on that tour was, of course, the busking, and then there was. I remember there was one tour. I don't know if it was a rule or something. But I remember we had to be, if we stayed out somewhere, we'd have to be back at a certain time because we're going to hit the next state. So I remember I met this girl, and then we were coming back. I go, well, drop me off early because I don't want to miss this van,
Right.
I want to go the trip. But then you guys were gone, and then there was a note tacked on the door. I remember being pissed off at first, like, what the fuck, and then
But we had to get to the next.
So then I go, they left early or something. So this girl, she was really cool. She goes, oh, I'll just drive you to. We were in Portland and we were going to Seattle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she lived in Portland, and so she drives me up there because it wasn't that far. It was like So she drives me there.
Just a few hours.
Right. But then what happens is, the vans broke down or something.
Yeah, and you get there ahead of us.
And I got there ahead of you guys, and then the sleeping accommodations fell through.
Yeah.
So you guys were going to sleep on. We were all going to sleep on the floor in the club, and then she goes, "I'll just come back to my place. I'll drive you back tomorrow."
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, "See you guys
See
later."
ya.
I was like, and that girl was pretty cool. I wish I still knew where she was, because she was really cool. She was a big music lover and stuff, and I stayed in her. She had this nice little plush apartment or something. And then
so when you got back from the touring with us, then where did your music go from there? Because I decided, well, I got to form a band because I got all these songs, and I'm gonna and then so I couldn't I didn't know what was going to go on with you guys. I was kind of just filling in, and you guys always seem to be needing a guitar player a lot. Yeah, because we had Mike Ness.
Yeah.
Then we had you. Then we had Brent Lyles from Social Distortion. And
yeah. So that was kind.
And they were up, and when he put out Prison Bound, his manager said no more Easter. That's why we brought you, and it was kind of a last minute thing. He was going to go with us, and then his manager said, no, we're working on this album, and that's it.
Yeah.
No more Easter.
Yeah. So when I got done with that, I I formed a band called Mystery Train, and then that was I
remember Mystery Train.
Yeah, so it's it was kind of what's now marketed as Americana and alt country, whatever you want to call that. That's, to me, it was just rootsy rock and roll, or whatever,
roots music,
rock and country mixed together and stuff like that. So I formed that band, and then we were playing. Then I ended up hooking up with this guy named Rich that used to work with the Stray Cats and Brian Setzer, and so he started to manage the group. So we put that together, and I got a deal with EMI, overseas.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then so we put out the one record, and then we were playing all over, and it was in the heart of that grunge movement. Grunge had just gotten really big, and then the sort of what they call it hair band stuff now, but it's really pop metal.
Right. Yeah.
That was kind of going by the wayside, right? So and then I was just doing my rootsy thing, and then we were playing, and we played with all these grunge groups, but they liked it, but it was just kind of an odd timing, because I felt like after that, a lot of stuff, changed. That scene kind of came in.
Right, it destroyed everything. Then it destroyed itself.
Yeah, and then the Americana thing started happening with Uncle Tupelo and who became Wilco, and some of those guys became Wilco, and Sun Volt, and then so anyways, Brian Setzer played guitar on one of the songs on my album, on a song called Don't Say Goodbye.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, he was cool about it. He just said, pour me a bottle of scotch, pour me some scotch, and I'll play a solo on that thing. So then we both did guitar solos, and that was really cool. And Lee Rocker had produced the album, the old bass player.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so then that one came out, and we did that one record, and then that band sort of split, it just kind of fell apart. And we were going to do a second album, but then it got shelved or something, that kind of thing. And that was so a lot of those collectors know that one. They're like, hey, where's that one?
There's another one.
Yeah, there's another record. So I'm thinking about reissuing that, and so that I guess that band wound up breaking up around 95 or something, 94, and then we wound up. But I went to Japan and went there, and everybody was screaming, you know, like a Beatles thing, you know.
Right, yeah.
It kind of goes like, wow, I did some show and you have a translator. Like, let's say I'm talking to you, there's a translator and she's translating everything, and there was a crowd of people, and then I remember just joking around going, we were walking around Japan in the Harajuku district where you see all the bands are playing in the streets and they're dancing the streets, a lot of rockabilly kids dance in the streets, and then there's heavy metal guys, there's everybody. And there was a table of all these like girls, and I just made a joke. I go, maybe they'll recognize from the TV show last night. And then I was only kidding, and all of a sudden you hear these little feet chase you down.
Nice.
Yeah. I go, man, he goes, it's funny. So it was actually happened, but I liked Japan. They were really friendly over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. But everything
and they love rock and roll. Yeah,
love rock and roll.
Great.
They had these great stores, like record stores that were even all Rolling Stones, all Beatles. You go in, there's nothing but Beatles, Rolling Stones in this one. Then they had a cavern club, like a mock cavern club, and they had a Beatles band playing. They were all Japanese, and they, I mean, even the little mistake, like if you hear like George Harrison make a little mistake, they made that mistake.
Oh yeah,
it was
they made
perfect.
It. Right, yeah,
you know. So,
and mistakes make the music.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're going to be playing a gig together. Next month.
Yeah.
So this is something you created.
Yeah.
Super cool thing. Outlaws of Folk, and so tell us a little bit about it and how it came about, and then.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, it's something that you've been doing for quite a while.
Well, just when I was first learning guitar, I used to like. I learned like old Hank Williams songs and old folk music stuff, as well as the rock and roll stuff. So I always had that in me, and so what I did is I started doing like solo records. I did Acoustic Rumble in '99, and that was really good because I was an indie, but it was reviewed by the LA Times. They said it was like the best record of the year, and they gave it the 10th best of the decade, right? So that was up there with all those Nirvana of the '90s. But the thing is, I was going, wow, I'm 10th best of the decade with these people, and like I have, there's no money flowing. Yeah. So and that song was all about like writing about like holding the mirror up to society, like we were talking about, like kind of social whatever.
This is what you're doing.
Yeah, like bad songs like Badge of Freedom.
Right?
Badge of Freedom, Poem to My Country was another one. And there wasn't a record like that out at that time. So it influenced a lot of these folk guys now that came after that. And they actually peg it in their interviews. They go, man, Acoustic Rumble was a big influence, So I started doing that, and I was doing acoustic records. And then I did some solo band records too, full bands, and all those did real well, And I toured England and did the whole thing, England and through the States. But when I came back, not too long, this is probably, now it's like about a decade ago, I started to go see people play, just acoustic players or whatever, and I started noticing things change, especially when the phones started coming into play. That people weren't really listening to the people playing like they were, and then some people were purposely rude. They would stand in front of the singers, and I mean I'm not intimidated by anybody, but some of these guys are just they want they're different personality,
and they want to shake you up.
So they're saying talking real loud on purpose, and just trying to mess with the singers and stuff. And I was going, God, man, it used to be when somebody was playing, like people would talk, or maybe they'd go outside and let's go have a cigarette, the guy's playing or the girl's playing, but now it's like, oh, there's a singer here. Of what singer? Blah, blah, blah. So I started going, man, and I was looking around going, there's got to be a place and I played a place called the Bluebird in Nashville. Yeah. Right? I played there a bunch of times, and it's really cool because everybody listens. And that's their whole thing. I think their little motto is, shh. That's what's on their pamphlet. So you have to listen. So anyways, I go, man, somebody needs to start something like that. And I'm not a host type of a guy, but I go, you know what? I remember driving home after seeing a friend play, and I go, I think if I don't start this, it's not going to happen. So I just got one coffee shop, and it was an old school one. So I go, I'm going to call it the Outlaws of Folk Music, because it's like an outlaw attitude against that whole thing.
Right, yeah.
And I go, and I'm not going to do it like even some of these other songwriter nights, or these guys walking around with the clipboard, and they're putting their friends before people, and it's very pompous, sort of. There wasn't a communal vibe about it, where people were like in it together, like the thing we kind of, with the punk ethic in the early punk days, the bands were like, hey man, I know a place you could play, and then you'd help each other out.
And we'd all get on the same show together.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I go, I'm going to bring that same thing to this acoustic folk thing. So I started that, and it started to it just kind of took off, and I even started having it expanded to different venues.
Yeah.
Like Alta stopped doing it, so then Bogart's was the home base now in Seal Beach, where you're going to play.
Yeah.
That's every first Thursday of each month, and I usually have me and then 2 other performers, each doing like 30-minute sets. Like, so you can do a full.
Yeah, it's an awesome setup, and
yeah, you can do a set and you get really express yourself, and
then everybody's there to listen to music. It's
they're all
awesome.
there for the music.
And even the people that. When I went this last time, it was outside.
Yeah.
That the bands were playing or the music was playing. It's
outside.
It was in that one. Everyone just played solo with one guitar and sang, and the people inside that were just there having coffee and on their computer. Yeah. I could see they all had an ear open and they were listening. Yeah, it's really cool. And people stop there, and it's always a good crowd. And then it expanded before the COVID thing. I was doing it also at Portfolios in Long Beach. Yeah. Which is a cool setup for live music. And there was one in East Hollywood called Sabori Katora. I hope I'm saying it right. And that was like an old school. And I was doing it there, and it was going real well, but they can't, they're still shutting down on
at
the
4.
COVID,
Yeah, and then I think the Long Beach one is there's nothing inside right now.
Right, yeah.
And so the Bogarts, they could do it outside. Yeah. So that kept it going. And I even was doing it at an old school barbershop at another place in Santa Ana, Chad's Barbershop. So
right, yeah.
Yeah, so it was
not to be mistaken for me.
This Chad, different Chad. It's a Chad. Yeah.
Okay, so
different Chad.
Let's get together and play a song together.
Sure.
I'll have you play harmonica and I'll play, and it's a perfect song because this song here is a outlaw song.
Oh, good, yeah. Yeah.
So anybody get out there to Bogart's, to the Outlaws of Folk. It is a great show, and the talent that you bring in is always really good.
There's always like people like going on tour will stop, like from different states, they'll come and play, I'll get them on, and then local performers, and then up and coming ones, and even older performers, like, because a lot of older singers like that are, they don't get booked anymore, and these talented people. So I was just like, hey, no, man, you got a spot to play.
Get everybody in,
yeah. So it makes it a really good thing. And everybody hangs out and listens. And it's not like they're play their set and then everybody leave. They leave.
Right,
that whole thing.
No, that still goes on, right? And I don't get it. I don't get it. If you're going to go out and play, hang out and watch the other bands. Sure. There's always something cool to see. Yeah. And why not support other people that are doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly, man.
I don't understand the people that come in and they play right on their time and they tell all their friends, just come at that time, and then as soon as they're done, they tell all their friends, let's get out of here.
Yeah, it's just
So here's a song called Bootstrap Cantina. This is on my upcoming album, Not Alone, so you'll be able to get that soon.
From his hands you can understand, with a devil on his back and his face painted black, like a runaway child who never smiles. He's been to hell, he's been to hell, he's been to hell, he's been to hell. Stay away, and now you gotta pay. You want to leave, but they make you stay.
in the land. I hope you understand. We have to decide. We cannot hide. Well, it's dark in this place, and I can't see your face. Evil all around, I feel it in my bones. I've been to hell. I've been to hell. I've been to hell. I've been to hell. To hell. Ha!
Groovy, man.
Nice. So don't miss the Outlaws of Folk.
Yeah, man. It's going to be cool. They're always really a good time.
All right, so...
even got T-shirts.
Yeah, that's it. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing now.
Frank Sinatra digs it. Here's my Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, they're
cup.
Perfect. I love Frankie.
It's a mug shot.
So, tell us about your albums. You've had several albums.
Oh yeah.
That you've done acoustically, and also some of you electric.
Yeah. So, I said Acoustic Rumble. I put out that, and then I did some full band albums. I did one called Avenue of 10 Cent Hearts, which is full rock and roll record, and then Portable Record Player was another one. I've put out a lot of records. I've had a lot of records released. And most recently, I had put out a full-on band record called Star Shaker, and that contained the song The Ballad of Brian Jones, which actually was a limited edition 12-inch vinyl EP with about 6 songs on it.
And that's going all the way outlaw there.
Yeah. Brian Jones, the founder of the Rolling Stones. And I'd written that song to give him sort of his just due.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, we all know Mick and Keith, but in the early days, Brian formed the band and named the band.
Yeah.
And he was... Really, he lived the lifestyle the Stones portrayed before they even hooked up. He was he had nothing else but the blues and music, and brought that to England. He was the first to play Bottleneck on an electric guitar on a recording in England. So just stuff like that. So I thought, because a lot of people have forgotten. So I wrote that song about him. It was a good, good subject to write about. Fan and all. And so there's that record, and I just put out a couple of folk records right before the lockdown, with one Song of Our Time, in which The Offended was on.
Yeah.
And there's a new one that came out last year called Music Notes from the Underground. Mm-hmm. And
and I love it, and it's funny because some of it is kind of similar to what I'm doing. It's I put out 2 records during COVID. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote and recorded them, and one of them's out. The other one's going to be out shortly after. Not too long from now.
Yeah.
So. And I just had a lot in me that I had to let out.
Oh yeah, you got to get out, man. You got to get out. And then I'm recording now a brand new record. Basically, I started that record. This is with a full band, and I planned to do a full band record, but once the lockdown happened, I'm going to do these acoustic records because I have all these songs. But I had started recording this before the lockdown. It was basically done because I record the old-fashioned way, like with the band setting up in the room, and not a lot of isolation, like some of the leakage is cool, so we're kind of playing in a room together, and maybe minimal overdubs at the lead, maybe tambourine or some lead
and
or
that's
something.
What I did. I have some percussion on my record.
So we did that, and I've got some great sort of gospel sounding backup singers, and so it's going to be really cool. But I'm just finishing that up now. But the thing is, it's a good problem to have, but I've written more songs since then. I feel like I have another album.
Yeah. No, it just keeps coming from me.
Yeah, you just keep churning them out. So
let's have you play another song then. So tell us a little bit
Okay.
about this song, and
Let's see here.
that's what this show's about, is supporting the underground, right? And this is as
Yeah.
underground as it gets.
Let's see what we could do here. Let's do I could do you want off this, maybe a Janie Lee's Phone or Song of Our Time. I could do that one.
Sure.
Let's do Song of Our Time.
Yeah.
This
That's a good one.
Yeah, this was the title of that record, and so it goes like this. Ready, people? There is a sound ringing in the air. I follow the call, the cold evening glare. Voices in the wind are singing in the chimes, the song of our time. Around the corner bend, people brace for war. Relationships won't mend with other foreign shores. There's nothing I can do except sing a song for you, the song of our time. I've been told to hate people from faraway lands. When up close to me, we all seem to look the same. The world is on the edge of something getting out of hand. We're only parts and pieces of an age-old game. Missiles are lined up, atomic energy, not pointed at the kings, only you and me. It's coming down the line where the highways wind, the song of our time. All the young soldiers lay dying in the fields, crying for their mothers in the night, begging to be saved, pleading to be healed. Dusk has turned to dawn and I'm still searching for the light. So baby, take my hand, come and walk with me along the shady groves. We'll watch the ravens flee, the music you will hear in valleys far and near, the song of our time. The final drum roll of the last scroll, the song of our time.
Sweet.
Nice harmonizing, man. That's good.
Well, we have a little memory of that, right? When on that tour we did play
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us how we can get a hold of any of your
music
records,
and
or
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, you can get my
or
website.
downloads,
Yeah.
whatever. It's downloads now. I don't think
Yeah.
there's a lot of people buying the records
Yeah.
and the CDs,
There's all,
but I still get a few on mine
Right.
where I'm sending them out to people
Yeah,
and
you
T-shirts.
still send them out.
and-
Yeah. Yeah. So I mostly you can get them on any of the online stores, Spotify's and Apple, iTunes and all that.
Right, yeah.
So all the stores that you can get them online at, and then but to get like the physical stuff too, and even the downloads, you can go to my websites, rockandrollpoet.com. So it's ROCK, the letter N, then roll,
Right.
then poet.com. A lot of people don't mistake it
Yeah,
for N.
and then you can look up Michael Ubaldini.
Yeah,
and
it'll pop up.
A lot of stuff pops up there.
It just
so-
pops up, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get that, and then the vinyl. There's limited edition vinyl, and some of the local, one-stop record stores have the vinyl too, like
Right, yeah.
all the usual suspects, Vinyl Solution,
Yeah.
and
And it's amazing what they find. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, so we'd like to thank you all for coming out. You've been watching Chad's Underground Scene with my special guest here, Michael Ubaldini.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
It's good to hang out and talk of the old times, too.
And we're going to end this with some videos from Michael. So thank you for coming out, and remember, it all starts in the underground.
Always buried in your phone. When I see you in the crowd or you're walking all alone, Bluetooth headset attached to your ear, looks like a hearing aid. I say hello but you don't hear. Try to catch your eye but you're always looking down. You could cause an accident but would not recognize the sound. You sway with indiscretion, move with bad intentions. Put down your phone, try something new. What must I do, Jeannie Lee, to get some sweet attention from you? At the coffee shop, leaning on a shelf, standing in line, taking pictures of yourself, posting online photographs for the world to see. I thought I saw you lift your head and take a look at me. When you're with your friends, you don't have a word to say. That phone is in your hands 24 hours of the day. Honey, you're perfection, you leave a bold impression. You are your own obsession, it's true. What must I do, Jeannie Lee, to get some sweet attention from you? Sleek and mean, driving in your car, still you were looking at the screen. Saw you looking good at the corner shopping mall. You never noticed anyone, just waiting for a call. Texting your friend who was right there by your side. All that I could do was walk into your path to light. You need a smooth injection, a shot of intervention. Prevention from invention will do. What must I do, Jeannie Lee, to get some sweet attention from you? So glad I got a clean mind and the dirt's washed out of me. Can't stand that I once was the kind they couldn't clearly see. I realize all my thoughts were evil. I'm happy I've conformed. Now I'm a nonconformist, conformist. New definition outside the norm. Oh, I'm so glad I had a clean mind. Social media and all the flat screens save me from myself and everything in between. All I needed was a good scrubbing, the old me born to be doomed. I'm happy I was re-educated, now I'm tranquil and well-grown. Oh, I'm so glad I have a clean mind. Can't believe I once was a rebel and my thoughts were mine. Now we all dress and think the same. Together we're one of a kind. After all, my brain was corrupt and needed to be clean. Rinsed, recycled, and washed in the think tank washing machine. Oh, now I'm so glad I have a clean mind. Yes, I have a clean mind. All those years I never understood what it meant to be tolerant, what it meant to be good. I'll contribute with certitude. I'm glad to toe the line. Excited about my new life, 'cause now I've got a clean mind. Oh yes, so glad I got a clean mind. Glad now I got a clean mind.
We talk about everything, play music in between, till